Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping sane, and hope you're building up a nice bit of appetite for a substantial meal later on. What I want to talk about today is rewards, and the rewards specifically for quitting gambling, for getting into recovery, for giving up gambling, for stopping gambling, whatever you want to call it, however you want to label it. I want to talk about the rewards you get for doing so. Now, one of the greatest things about quitting gambling, and there are, trust me, many great things about quitting gambling, is the rewards. Now, the great thing about quitting gambling, and I believe the same as it applies to sort of quitting alcohol or quitting any kind of, negative addiction, is the rewards are very organic. What happens as you quit gambling is you start to notice natural organic rewards. You don't need to set up a reward tier system for yourself. I don't think we want to talk about tier systems, do we? But you don't need to set up rewards, you don't need to set up targets, you don't need to set up goals, you don't need to say, if I go X amount of days without gambling, I'm going to buy myself this. And the reason you don't need to do this is because as you quit gambling, the rewards become very apparent. They become sort of self-fulfilling, so to speak. What you'll find as you quit gambling is the first bit is pretty hard. We all have very strong urges. You'll find it very, very tough to get through day to day without quitting gambling. But after that, some of these rewards start to rear their heads. It might be as little as you're starting to sleep better. That's one thing that I noticed specifically, and that's both direct and an indirect effect of gambling. It's direct because I wasn't staying awake late at night after my wife had gone to bed drinking and playing on the online casinos, which deprived me of sleep and meant I was perpetually tired, but also indirectly. It meant that I wasn't laying awake at night thinking about gambling, thinking about my most recent loss, or basically mentally berating myself for a session of gambling I'd had which I shouldn't have done, or maybe that I couldn't afford. You do find very, very quickly you develop a more natural and a more healthy sleep pattern. That in itself is a reward. Of course, we can't talk about quitting gambling without talking about financial rewards. Now, of course, it might be that throughout your gambling time you've built up a significant amount of debt, and as I've spoken about in previous videos, in most cases this is going to have to be paid back. So you might think in reality it's going to be a long, long time before you see a real financial reward. So whether or not you're suddenly seeing significant amounts more disposable income, what you will get from quitting gambling is the reward of financial certainty, and that is you know when you're getting paid, you know what's going out, and you know what you've got left, even if that's not a huge amount after you've started repaying these debts of yours. But you'll have that peace of mind that you know where you are. You know that if you don't have any money left in your pocket, it's fine. Everything's paid for. It might mean that you can't treat yourself, it might mean that you can't go out and have your substantial meal, but it does mean that everything's paid, and again, you can rest, you can sleep easier at night, and you get that organic reward of peace of mind and of happiness. You'll find your relationships improve, both your emotional, romantic relationships, and also your relationships with your family, with your friends, because you've got more time for them and because you're not mentally elsewhere, you're not mentally distracted by gambling. These rewards all come along organically as the process of recovery progresses. Now I'm less than 2 years into recovery now, so I'm sure that there will be times in the future where I start getting rewards that I didn't expect, that I hadn't seen coming, that I hadn't even accounted for. And I'm sure some of these will be financial once all my debts are paid off and I suddenly start getting more income every month. These are natural benchmarks, natural rewards that come to you as part of your recovery. And why am I talking about this? Well, whenever we do something positive, two things happen. Sometimes we'll set goals, we'll set targets, and we'll set little places where we can basically reward ourselves. Now, I'm not saying this is inherently wrong. If you're walking up to the bookies to go and get a self-exclusion form, or to hand in a self-exclusion form, or you're going anywhere to take an active step in recovery, then do something nice for yourself. Don't make it big, don't make it dramatic, but just, give yourself a little bit of a, yeah, well done, Phil, you did something, So if I went to walk up the bookies at the road, this is going to sound really benign, but if I went to walk up the bookies up the road to self-exclude, maybe I'll stop at the Co-op on the way back and get myself a Ginster's cheese and onion pasty. Oh, boshly, lovely then. But yeah, it's a stupid little thing, but maybe it's just a little bit of a kick and go, yeah, right, you did something positive today. But, and here's the big thing, don't reward yourself for doing nothing. Don't reward yourself for words. Don't reward yourself for intentions. And don't expect those around you to reward you for effectively not doing anything. I see this time and time again. It's not necessarily always with gambling. It's very, very prevalent on social media, particularly Facebook. Yes, it always comes back to Facebook, doesn't it? Someone will do something, or more specifically, do nothing, but say something, make some grand declaration, make some grand statement, expressing their intentions, expressing their plans, their motivations, and expressing an intent to do something grand. They'll claim they're going on a diet. They'll claim they're giving up drinking. They'll say they're starting a business. They're leaving their job. They're moving house. They're going to live a better life. They're going to do something better, more powerful, more productive. They're thinking of going to Africa to help starving people build wells. They'll say these things and they'll go, yeah, and people will rally behind them and go, brilliant, you go, you smash it. They'll get a massive dopamine hit from this. This acceptance, this basically receiving credit for these grand intentions for which you've done absolutely nothing. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And when it comes to doing positive things in your life or ridding your life of negative things, the worst thing we can do is get recognition and get that dopamine hit purely for saying or purely for intending to do something. If you do that, then a lot of the motivation will instantly be sapped because you've had that recognition, you've had that, being credited with doing something great without actually having to do the thing that you don't want to do. If I was to say, I'm going on a diet, right, the best thing I could do as someone who was going on a diet is change my diet and tell as few people as possible. I'd probably have to tell my wife because to adjust the shopping and all the rest of it, but wait until you're a month into your diet and you've lost some weight. And then if you want to tell people that you've lost half a stone or whatever, great, go out and do it. Don't shout about your intention to lose weight or to go on a diet, because two things will happen. Like I say, you'll either get instant, props, I hate that word, but you'll get instant recognition for intending to do something when you've actually achieved nothing. Or secondly, people might not care. And these are people like myself who go, well, you haven't done anything yet. And this is me being a natural cynic, but me also, and thankfully not so much anymore, spending a bit of time on social media in the past. People just constantly brag about things they haven't done and they haven't achieved. And gambling can be the same. Don't make a grandiose gesture of it. Don't talk about it to everyone. Don't make a big song and dance about quitting gambling. Yes, talk to people. Talk to those closest to you, but talk about your addiction, talk about your problem, and talk about the practical steps you're going to take to address it. Don't stand up, make a big declaration. Like I said in my New Year's resolution video, don't shout about quitting. Don't make it a big thing, and don't expect recognition. Don't expect props for merely saying that you're giving up gambling. The proof, I'm full of cliches today, the proof of the pudding is of course in the eating. It's very, very easy to say you're going to do something, and it's substantially harder to carry that through. And it's made even harder if you've already received that reward, that dopamine hit from people acknowledging your intentions. That was a bit rambly, wasn't it? But I hope you get the idea. Like I say, it is very, very important to talk to people, particularly in the early stages of recovery. Open up to those closest to you, but talk about the addiction. Talk about the practical things you're doing to address them and let them support you in that way. Don't expect a round of applause and a big fanfare for publicly declaring, I'm giving up gambling. Because I could say now, right this second, completely irrelevantly, I had, I think, 3 or 4 cans of Stella last night. Actually, I didn't really plan to drink that much. But anyway, my point is that I'm not long been out of bed. I could easily put on Facebook now, I'm giving up drinking today. And people go, yeah, well done, Phil. Great, good for you. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Well done? Well done for what? And that a couple of stories down there will be old Karen on there. Let's not use Karen. It's a bit of a meme now, isn't it? Old Helen or Cynthia saying, yeah, I've quit my job and I'm starting a business. But she hasn't sold anything. She hasn't got a client. She's got no conversions to her name. She's basically gone on Company's House, set up a limited company, registered a domain name and got some business cards printed from Vistaprint. Well done, Cynthia. You are now officially a company director of nothing. That was a bit of a mini rant there about something that I get really quite frustrated with, people who claim they run their own business purely because they've got business cards. Business cards are the biggest killer of small businesses in the short term, I can almost guarantee you. But anyway, that's a rant for another day and possibly for another channel. I hope this makes sense. Like I say, good luck to everyone who is giving up gambling. Very well done to people who have successfully started their recovery and who have got a bit of time under your belt. Keep going, and those rewards will come organically, I promise you. But don't expect props and recognition just for saying you're quitting gambling, because chances are, if you're saying that, you've said it before and people have seen the cycle. Take it easy, guys. Catch you on the next one, and if you can, enjoy your substantial meals, and obviously best wishes to everyone in Tier 3. Hope you get out there soon. All the best.